Hey guys, welcome back. I hope you guys are having a beautiful day, and if not, I hope your day gets better. In this video, I am going to be doing a cute little spooky set, and I'm going to be telling like a little spooky story. But first things first is I'm going to go ahead and apply some peel off base coat. I already did my prep. I just forgot to do the peel off base coat. So I just go ahead and apply like a thin layer of it on my nails, not too much, not too little, just enough to where I know, like it'll peel off. Then I'm gonna cure it, and then once that is done, I am gonna go ahead and glue on these tips with some base coat. Once the tips have been glued, I'm just going to go ahead and go in with my nail tip cutter, cut them down to the desired length. And then once that is done, I am going to go in with my 180 grit nail file. And what I'm doing here is I'm just like reshaping and filing the nails, and then I'm also going in with my fine grit sanding band, and I'm just removing the shine off the tips, and then also where I glued on the nail. And then I'm gonna clean it off with some young nail swipe. And then once all that is done, I am gonna go ahead and apply some base coat to two of my nails. And like always, this is just the way I personally like to work. I like to put base coat to two nails, just because I'm constantly up and doing things. Like when I'm doing my nails, I'm not just sitting down, I'm like doing other things with my kids and all that stuff. So I always get like lint and whatnot in it. So yeah, but once that is done, I am gonna go in with a bead of MAKARTT's La Coral, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and pat the POLYGEL, and then making sure I go from sidewall to sidewall, making sure everything is nice and smooth and straight, and then like start creating like a little apex area. And as you can see here, I got some lint in my nail. And honestly, like there's times where I notice after I'm done filing, like I know, like people will be like, oh, well, how can you not notice if your nail's like right there? I don't know. There's times where I'm just like so focused, and then it's not until after I'm done, I'm like, crap, I like have some lint in here. But yeah, I mean, I end up taking it off, like filing and stuff. But yeah, it gets pretty annoying. But like always, I'm just gonna let you guys enjoy some of this application, and I am gonna be talking about some like spooky stuff. I just want to do like a spooky thing for Halloween. I'm trying something new. It's just like experiences that I've been through, and if you guys have any experiences as well, like feel free to leave them down in the comments. Like yeah, but I'll talk about my little like spooky stuff that happened throughout my life like later. So for this season, for this spooky season, I wanted to try something different. I wanted to share some personal spooky stuff that has happened to me throughout my whole 30-something years of life. I've had a few, and I've had like my earliest memory of like spooky stuff happening to me. I want to say I was like maybe 5 or 6 years old. And I don't know. I just felt like since it's spooky season, why not share some spooky stories with you guys? So the first one was when I was a little girl. I was like 5 years old. I was living with my grandparents at that time. She would take me to school and everything. And I remember it very clearly. During that time, they were remodeling my room. So everything was like stripped out of my room. All I had was like just my bed and just like a little things, like a little light on the floor, the other rooms were occupied with all like a bunch of other stuff. Like they were doing like a big remodel in the house. So I remember, going to sleep and everything. And I remember having like this very crazy, vivid dream. Like I'm talking about like this lady, it was this old witch lady, right? And I remember like her grabbing me like on my shoulder and then just hearing this like laughter, and it was just scary. When you're a little kid, like stuff like that scares you. And I remember she grabbed me, but when she grabbed me, it was like this like grab, like it hurt, and she had these like long nails, and I remember getting scratched in my dream, and I'm crying and stuff. And apparently I was crying in real life. So I was having like I was experiencing the dream in real life. And I have a lot of stories about those type of dreams too. But yeah, so when I wake up, right, I'm telling my grandma, I was like, Grandma, like I'm hurting, like my shoulder hurts. And she was like, you're fine, mija, it was just a dream. I was like, no, like me agarró, nani, me agarró. And I'm telling her, like she grabbed me, like she hurt me. And I'm telling her, and she was like, you're okay. And I was like, no, Grandma, like my shoulder hurts. And it was like the back of my shoulder, kind of like where my shoulder blades were. That's where she had like scratched me, right? I kid you not, my grandma looked in the back and I had like 4 lines, like 4 scratch lines across my back. So she was like, maybe you scratched yourself. I don't know. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. But yeah, that's one story. I know it wasn't creepy, but when you're that age and you see it, it's gonna creep someone out. All right, y'all, so now it's time for the nail art. So for the nail art, it's gonna be super simple, super basic, super beginner friendly. I'm gonna go ahead and use only 3 colors, and the colors I'm using are orange, black, and white. And what I'm gonna do is, with the orange, I'm just gonna create clouds. I know I use this design a lot, but I think it went well with what I did. I had seen like this inspiration pic. It wasn't this one, but it had like the orange clouds to it. So that's what I ended up doing. I do 2 coats of the gel polish for like everything. So for like filling in right here, the line work and all that. I did want to let you guys know that like I do 2 coats of all the gel polishes. So yeah, so for the nail art, like I mentioned, pretty simple. I'll let you guys watch what it is that I'm doing, and I'll come in later with some more like stories. So I know the first story wasn't as spooky, but like I said, coming, from a 5-year-old, that's pretty spooky. I would say that's pretty spooky to me. But yeah, so that was one of them. And then later on, we ended up moving to a town out there in Fresno, and the town was called Layton. And if you guys are from there, or if you guys have heard of it, or if you guys are from Fresno, you guys know that there's like really small little towns everywhere, and like everyone knows everything. But yeah, so the house that we had moved into, right, it was basically a fixer-upper. My dad got it for like super cheap. The guy was like, it's like a mess. Like when I'm talking about it was a mess, like it was a mess. My dad fixed it completely, renovated, like put new floors, did like put new like a bathroom and all that stuff. And my dad brought that house back to life. So like the house was big, right? Like it had like a very big property. And again, like if you guys live in Fresno, or if you guys have ever been to Fresno, like during the winter, it gets very spooky because like the fog out there is thick, like thick, right? So I remember, it was like during fall season, and we were getting ready to go to church, and my mom made us take these pictures outside, and I still have those pictures. But I remember, like, I just kept feeling, you know, like this eerie feeling there. And then every time I would look, I would see like this black figure. And this black figure was floating, and it had like a hat and like kind of like those big like drapey like raincoats, you know, like those very long raincoats. But he was all black and he was floating, right? I don't know if it was a girl or a guy, but I'm saying he, because yeah. And so I remember I would see it, and I would tell my sister, like, Stephanie, like, do you see that? And she'd be like, no, you're tripping. I was like, no, I know I'm not tripping. So that was that, right? And then we come back home, you know, from church, and we change and everything. We're chilling. And then we get, like, we're hanging out in the living room, like the kid living room. And that living room, you know, had like access to like 2 bedrooms, like from each side, like to left and right. And then forward, like towards the front, there was like the bathroom, and then, you know, like a wall dividing the bathroom to the kitchen. So I remember very clearly, like, we're watching TV in there, you know, in the living room. And then I just hear like a creaking. And when I hear a creaking, like the faucet in the bathroom is slowly turning on. So I'm like, what? So, okay, I go and, you know, and I like turn it off. So I go sit down, and then it happens again. So I was like, oh, hell nah, you know? And so then I asked my sister, I was like, Stephanie, can you go turn on the thing? And she's like, dude, stop messing with the water. Like, she thought I was messing around, but again, it wasn't me. And so then, you know, the third time it happens, and this time, like, when I see it happening, like the water's turning on, as I get up, I kid you not, it turns off by itself. Like the little thing to move the faucet. Yeah, well, that thing pushed itself back. And I was just like, you know, terrified. There's also like in the bathroom, because we had like this closet, like an actual closet. And like in the bottom, there was this cutting. And my dad didn't touch that spot because, you know, the owner was like, oh, don't move anything from there. Like, you can, you know, like, change the floor out of the bathroom. Just don't mess with the closet bathroom floor. So my dad was like, okay, whatever. And, you know, it was always there. It was like lifting slowly, as if like, I don't know, but it was spooky, like, because I don't know if it was like a way to get into the basement, or if it was like closed off on purpose, or what it was. Like, we never dared to go inside, because like I believe in spirits, I believe in things. I am terrified of attics and basements. I will not, like, I've been to a few basements, and that's because people had to be with me, and I was just like freaking out the whole time I was down there. So yeah, we never went down, like, we never checked it out, but like, just spooky stuff happened, you know, for the house. Like, that's just a few. There's other ones that like include my great grandma and everything. And yeah, I know they're not like super spooky, these stories, but you know, again, when you're a kid and you see things like this, you get spooked out. And don't get me wrong, I still have seen like a few other things as a grown-up that spook me out. But I'll tell you guys about that in like other videos, because I have a bunch of like spooky nail sets. So I have a bunch of like stories, and you know, like, if you guys want me to go on Reddit and find some like short spooky stories, I'm like totally down for that as well. Or if you guys even have anything, you know, spooky yourselves, feel free to like leave it down in the comments so I can, you know, have a good little read. I hope you guys don't mind that this video is long. I do want to say thank you if you guys have, like lasted this long, and if you guys finished the video, thank you so much. I wanted to do something a little bit different this year. As I'm doing these spooky sets, I figured I'd share some like little spooky stuff that has happened to me like throughout the years. And yeah, I don't know, like, maybe you guys share some spooky stuff that has happened to you guys too. I'm down also to like tell you guys like spooky stories that I have read, or like, here I'm always listening to podcasts, so like I'm always down to listen to a spooky story and like tell y'all about it. Or if you guys have any recommendations for like a spooky podcast, leave it down in like the comments. Feel free. And again, I really hope that you guys are enjoying this. It's new, so I hope it's okay for you guys. All right, next I'm gonna go in with KIARA Sky's Cuticle Oil. And this is how the nails came out. I think these came out super cute. I love them. I think they're like super cute, spooky, Halloween, I don't know. I think they're very cute. And also, like, let me know if you guys enjoyed, the spooky storytelling. Like I mentioned, it's very new, and like, I don't know. I just really hope you guys enjoyed it. I wanted to do something different for you guys. So yeah. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this set. Let me know if there's something you guys want me to do. I am going to be recreating a set, well, 2 sets. So I'm super excited for that. But yeah, like always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll be seeing you guys soon. Bye.